Hey guys, Parfax here. Today I am bringing you the Magic Nightblade build you guys have been wanting. You have asked me for it for so long now, and it's finally time to bring it. I'm ready. I hope you're ready. Let's get started. Alright, I am here in Cyrodiil, and I wanted to bring you guys the build that I have been running with. I've changed it a couple times, and I really think this is actually a pretty good Magic Nightblade build. Now, having said that, we're going to play a specific playstyle. The Magic Nightblade is widely known as by far the best bomber, but a class that lacks in really brawling aspects, so we're not going to brawl. I know I put out a lot of videos recently about like the stamina Nightblade, and I've came to the conclusion when it comes to Nightblade that for the most part we're not going to brawl. Other classes do it better, so we're going to focus on what the Magic Nightblade does and what it does well, and we're really just going to hone in on that strategy. Okay, first, let's talk about gear. Gear is always the biggest part of the build, and it's the part that can differ from one person to the next, and I don't know if I've seen anybody run this on specific Magic Nightblade, at least one of these two sets, but let's check it out. So I am here, and we're going to start with a very well-known set. Everybody likes it for a lot of classes, and I really enjoy it as well. And that is War Maidens. War Maidens is a pretty cool set. It's going to give you, I believe it's 600 spell damage to your magic abilities when it's at all legendary. But we're not running all legendary. You guys don't like to necessarily see that, so we're going to go with that. We are going to go with a almost full divine setup here. I do have invigorating just because I couldn't find a divines piece, but I like either full divines. That's what I would run. I wouldn't run anything else. I wouldn't worry about even well fitted. You can run maybe like a piece of well fitted if you want, but I wouldn't worry about it. I'd go straight divines, go for that straight damage. We're gonna be killing people pretty easily and pretty quickly, so we really don't need anything else, and we're just gonna use our other tools to get away. So after War Maidens, which is a really good set, it's just overall great. It's not going to show up in your tooltip. I know everybody's like, Parfax, show me your stats. Show me your stats. Parfax, show me your stats. Like, well, a lot of the builds that I run these type of things, the stats actually don't show. And it's going to be no different for this build. Some of the stats just aren't going to show because, actually, both 5-piece sets, they're not going to show because something has to happen, and you don't see a stat on here that says magic abilities spell damage. So that's why I'll show you my stats, but it's just something you shouldn't worry about too much because stats don't really mean anything on some of these builds. You know, we're not doing stat heavy builds. We're doing just damage heavy builds that don't show up on stats. You know, it's sometimes kind of hard for people to test, and it's a thing it's easy to see, you know, okay, well, I have new moon versus X. Well, it's easy to see it because all the stats will come onto the stat sheet. And if set A gives me X and set B gives me, you know, X -2, then obviously set A is better. But it's a lot different with these sets because you don't get that really cool tooltip, and it's harder to see on some of these builds. Now, the second set we're going to use, and we'll go to the jewelry so we can show you the enchant, which I'm sure you guys know what the enchants are by now. And that is going to be Stoons. Stoons is a very good Nightblade set for its 5-piece. Now we'll go through the pieces here. It's going to give you some weapon and spell damage. It's going to give you some offensive penetration, which the Magic Nightblade really needs. And it is going to give you, when you deal damage to an enemy who is off balance, your physical and spell penetration is increased by 5,126. That is very good. Now, there is one set that you can run that can be slightly better than this, and that is Night Mother's Gaze, but it is a stamina set, and it doesn't give you the spell damage that you're looking for, and it gives you basically 3 off stats, and then the 5-piece is really good. It's going to give you Major Breach. We are not going to be getting Major Breach in this build, and it is a little bit more penetration if you go that, but this rounds out to be a little bit a better, well-rounded build for that extra spell damage. But if you have that laying around, you can definitely use that as well. You're like, Parfax, why would I ever use a set that gives me basically no sets and then a 5-piece set? It's because just the amount of penetration you get, and it's still really good. Okay, now, if you don't know how we're actually going to proc this, It's actually pretty easy. We're just going to use our concealed weapon, which we'll get to in a minute. And as you can see here, attacking concealed weapon from the flank stuns the enemy for 3 seconds. I'm setting them off balance. So it's really good. And we're going to proc it all the time. Again, I'm running blue jewelry. All the clips you're going to see is me in blue, almost all purple. I think this is legendary. Yeah, this is legendary. And then I am running legendary weapons. We are running double maces. We are also, again, going for that penetration. We have a ton of penetration on this build, even if it doesn't show it on the tooltip. But we are just going full into penetration and relying on that massive 600 or 579 spell damage from this 5-piece bonus to really give us a very well-rounded build. And again, we are going for the Wild Hunt. I think this is an absolute must-have for any Nightblade. I don't know if I will ever take off the Ring of the Wild Hunt. It is just so good. The Nightblade doesn't really suffer from damage. Most of the time, Nightblades really just want some penetration and they want some utility, and you can really make a Nightblade work on so many different gear setups. But this setup is absolutely pretty good. I didn't get it on film, but I did pretty much 100-0 somebody with like 41,000 health. Obviously, they probably were running maybe like light armor or something like that, maybe medium armor. But you can still do a ton of damage and still burst people down that have pretty high health pools with this build. Now, we're going to look at our back bar. The back bar you can run, I didn't mention the Malkin score yet, a little bit more penetration. The back bar, you can run whatever you want. I am running a Vatashram Perfected Resto Staff. It's just going to give us magic. It's going to be, actually, sorry, that's the wrong one. We want, not Vatashram, you want Maelstrom Perfected. Where's it at? Here it is. You want the Maelstrom Perfected Resto Staff. And this, I would go defending, I guess. Realistically, again, the back bar doesn't matter. We are going to be killing people on the front bar. So maybe defending, if you are looking to really fight around a bunch of people, you can run Infused. Infused is pretty good. It's going to give you that big weapon and spell damage if you put the enchant on your back bar. But a lot of times you don't want to hit people. You don't want to attack people because you want to blow them up before they even know you're coming. So it is very kind of... you don't want to tell them they're coming so they can block. They can put down all their full buffs. Now, you can still kill people through that, but it makes it a little bit harder. And if we want to run a build like that, you're going to, in my opinion, run a few different skills on our bar. So now that we got that, we're running the Maelstrom Resto. And again, we're just getting a little bit extra spell crit. But the big thing is when you regenerate, your critical strikes restore a little bit of magic and just give you a little bit of extra sustain. You're not really going to use it very often. We don't use our back bar a ton. We're going to stay on our front bar and absolutely wreck them, get out of jail free. And it's a pretty fun, fast play style and can end up in some pretty fun clips. Now, let's talking about our skills and passives. Again, I will touch on this. I mentioned this in my last video with the bow Nightblade, but someone made sure to let me know, and I forgot about it, that you want to put points into improved hiding. It reduces the cost of sneak. It is actually more important on the Magic Nightblade because we are going to be using our stamina, but it's still not a big problem. If you don't get this, do not worry about it. It's just a really cool thing to have. Reducing your cost of sneak is always good. Next, we are going Vampirism. We're going to stay at stage 2, and we're going to do that for these two passives, Dark Stalker and Strike from the Shadows. This is going to give us some movement speed reduction while we are in stealth, which means we're just going to not have any penalty. And this one's going to give us the 300 spell damage whenever we come out of stealth. We're going to give that big pop of damage and get back in stealth. Okay, so now that we talked about the passives, let's talk about the Vampirism and how we stay at stage 2. And we are going to stay at stage 2 by just rotating we're going to drink 1 Corrupted Bloody Mara. And then we are going to drink consecutively 2 Purifying Bloody Maras. So this is going to put us to stage 4. And then this Purifying Bloody Mara is going to go down by 1 stage. We're going to stay at stage 2. So make sure you keep these in your inventory while you are, running around, so you don't have to feed or anything crazy like that. So next, let's talk about our potions. Since we're sort of on that topic, we are running 1 set of potions. Hold on. 1 set of potions here. And that is going to be Essence of Spell Power. We're just going to get Major Sorcery and Major Prophecy. and get some magic back. These are just overall really good. You can run these alliance score ones. They're pretty decent. They're pretty cheap. I've been running these. They're just a little bit better, but they're still really good. And this will be the only potion that I run on this build. I know my magic for my stamina nightblade, I'm running tripods, but with this build, we do need major sorcery. So this is the big thing here. Get major sorcery, get some magic, and then we'll realistically whatever you want. Food, we're going to be running something very similar as I like to run all of my builds, and that is the double stat by stat blue food. It's going to give us 5,400 health, 500 or 5,000 almost magicka, and it's just going to be really good food to give us some nice little stat pools and get us topped off pretty well. We don't really need the regen. We'll talk about that here in a minute, but really good. Next, since we're there, let's talk about our stats. I know everybody's stats. So we'll talk about our stats. So you can see here's our base stats unbuffed. We have a 1270 or 12,786 spell penetration. Now, mind you, we're going to get an extra 5150 or something like that whenever we get somebody behind. So we're closing, what's that? 7, 8, we're about 18,000 spell penetration, which is pretty good. Pretty solid. We are running the Shadow Mundus Stone. This is by far my favorite. If you want to run the Lover, that's fine too. But as a Nightblade, I just find it, if you're running full Divines, very hard. It is the best bang for your buck to run the Shadow Mundus Stone. You hit so hard with it. Any squishy target's going to die. It still really helps you on tanky targets. And as a Nightblade, let's be honest, you are the alpha that picks off the weak. You know, you are the lions, the tigers. Whenever you see the bunch of gazelle, the zerg, right, running around, you're not going after the king. You're not going after the alpha that's in the front. You're picking off the weaklings in the back. Now, can you fight the alpha? Yeah, for sure, right? I mean, you can do that, but you're really picking off the back. You're not getting in the middle of the fray. We're not running a tanky Nightblade. Can you? Yeah. Are other classes better? Probably. So that's why we're doing the Shadow. We are just absolutely annihilating our enemies, and we're doing it in style. So we will go ahead and hit our spell power potion here so you can kind of see the official stats. Let's do a little cloak on our bar. And here you go. You can kind of just look over the stats. We're running at 40% spell crit. We are up to almost 20,000 spell penetration with the Shadow and our stuff there. Then we're going to get an extra, like I said, it was like 5,100 through our skill. And we're looking at, a little bit of spell resistance, physical resistance. We really don't care about that. Our max magic is sitting at 31,688. Health is sitting at 24,990. And our stamina is at 12,120. If you are lacking and you feel like you're lacking stamina, always run Bewitched Sugar Skulls. They're so good. And I recommend them on almost any build I think can run them. There's only a few classes that I just will never run them. And as you saw, we had like 1,400, I think, magic recovery. So now that we talked about that, you've seen the stats. You've seen everything. Did you see the spell damage? We'll check the spell damage again. We'll go cloak. Wait till it comes out of cloak and you can see what our spell damage is. 5223. Like I said, you're gonna look at that. You're gonna go, well, Parfax, that was horrible. Yeah, it's horrible, but a lot of all the stats that we are running, the 2.5p sets, none of them actually equate to stats on the stat table. So keep that in mind when you're looking at this build. So let's go over the skills. Now, front bar, this is going to be pretty standard, pretty easy stuff here. There's one skill here that a lot of people don't use in tandem together, and let's talk about it. So first, we're going to talk about Lotus Fan. Lotus Fan is okay. I don't use it that much. I use it really as the gap closer, and that's about it. The minor vulnerabilities, pretty nice, but we really don't need it. So really don't ever ambush or Lotus Fan to your target unless they are running away, maybe on a horse, or you don't want to like run with your stamina. You don't want to cloak. You just want to get back on them. Maybe there's a Sork streaking, right? I've done that many times. And you can use Elemental Weapon and then Lotus Fan to him. It's a pretty good combo to keep on your target, still put a lot of pressure. Next, we talked about a little bit Elemental Weapon. This is going to do a huge amount of damage. As you see, it does magic damage, so it is going to proc off of our War Maiden set that we're running. But what you're actually going to want to do with this actual set, or this ability, is you're going to combo with Concealed Weapon. So we don't have any mobs here, But essentially, and this is the same thing I do on my stamina nightblade. I actually got an idea from my magic nightblade. Somebody hit me with it, and I was like, oh, that's actually a great idea. Is when you go up to a target, we're going to use Shadow Cloak as my actual concealed weapon, considering I don't have a target here to hit. But you'll go up to them, you'll hit a potion. We're not gonna, well, hold on, we'll just hit a regular potion. Potion, right? Make sure you get that major sorcery, get all your crit and everything like that. We're going to hit concealed weapon, or I mean, elemental weapon, and then light attack, concealed weapon. Like I said, we're just cloaking for the sake that you can actually see me doing it. But we're just going to go so that I did a light attack weave into there. So when you do this, you're essentially hitting them with 3 abilities all at one time. We're hitting them with a light attack, which, mind you, we are running dual wield, so it doesn't hit that hard. But we're still hitting with that. We're hitting them with our elemental weapon, and we're hitting them with our concealed attack, all in one exact shot. It is so much damage. You will kill people just in one burst with that. I've killed many people with just the doop, doop, doop. Like, you will just absolutely annihilate the squishy targets. That's how you kill them. You don't have to execute them. You don't have to hit your ultimate. You don't do anything. They're just dead. Like, it's really, really good. Then, of course, we are running Impale. Impale's really good. Just to finish off your target. Really good. Nice ranged execute. Shadowy Disguise. Pretty self-explanatory. Now, we do have it on the front bar, and mainly that's for concealed weapon. We do go faster while we're sneaking with it, so I keep it on my front bar. And then we're running Soul Harvest, again, a magic damaging ability. And when you pair this, when you open with this, it does insane damage. Now, if you are going to use your ultimate, I suggest you open with it. I know we're going to lose a little bit of damage, and you can, it depends on how fast they are. You can do a same opener. You can do a, you know, into your ultimate, but they can dodge it fairly easily. So I like to just cloak up to him, get right behind him, and then boom, pop your ultimate on him, and then get him with a concealed weapon. Get him from their back. Now make sure with this build, you're really going to want to attack everybody from the back. We're not going to, and by the back, I mean, we'll go over here to this target here. If this is your target, you want to eventually target, target from like here to here. You can essentially hit them anywhere that's just not the front, and it'll prop your flanking passive, which will give you a lot of your damage, which we'll see here in the champion point system as well. So that's the front bar. Let's go to the back bar. The back bar, we are running, of course, channeled acceleration. Love this ability. It's going to give us minor force, which is insane, and give us some movement speed. We're increasing our critical damage by 10%, our speed by 30%. Really great skill. We are running rapid regen, and it's just for our only heal on our bar. We do use it every great once in a while, and that's the reason why we're running the Maelstrom Resto, and it's good. If we need it, we can hit it. Next, we're running Deep Thoughts. This is actually a great skill in the Magic Nightblade. We're going to use a lot of stamina while we're sneaking around. We are going to use a lot of magic while we're cloaking. So in some points, we're going to have to completely reset the fight, and we do that pretty simple. Remember, it is going to take you out of stealth, but you're just going to run around to hide behind something and do this. If you watch here, we're going to run our stamina out. Now watch how fast it goes up our stamina. We regen our stamina really quickly, and most of the time that's what you're going to have to run, or that's what you're going to have to worry about. We're just going to continue going around sneaking and be just fine. Next, again, we're running Shadow Image. This is going to be another tool to get out of jail free, you know. Watch putting this down. Put this down only if you are 100% sure nobody can see you, because when you pop it, you are detected for a split second. So make sure if you're going to pop it down, it's, you know, we're going around this corner. Oh, I had it up. Yeah, we're going around this corner. We're going to put here, and now we're good. Just put it down, and now you can run. So pretty self-explanatory, but use it wisely. Don't overuse it. Last ability that's not our ultimate is going to be Merciless Resolve. Again, pretty standard, pretty hard-hitting ability. It is a magic damaging ability. Again, as you can see, all of our damaging abilities are magic damage, which is the reason why we're going with War Maiden, and does a ton of damage. And then we're running Temporal Guard for its 5% damage reduction, and it's just full reset when you need it. What I like to do with this ability is I'm getting chased, right? I got 5-6 people on me. I'm going this, I'm cloaking, I'm running. It's not going to work, right? I'll go dodge roll, cloak. I hit it, dodge roll instantly when you get out of there, cloak, and try to get away that way. That's the best way to get away. I've gotten away of a few situations that there's no way I should have ever gotten away with because of that skill right there. It's pretty awesome. Last thing we're going to talk about is going to be our champion point tree. We'll go over the races here in a second too, but this is kind of the last big thing. Green tree is the green tree. We're not going to worry about it. Red tree is all very standard. Get your 3 points here, get your last one here, and then make sure your health. Other than that, everything is, you know, you can put points into it wherever you want. And then the blue tree is also pretty standard for pretty much any of my Nightblade builds. The 4 points you're really going to run are going to be fighting finesse, increasing your critical damage. Backstabber, again, increase your critical damage done per 3% per stage against enemies that are flanking. We are trying to flank 100% of the time. So that is just it's better than fighting finesse. Really good. And then increase your damage done with single target abilities and increase your damage done with direct damaging attacks. So all very standard. Again, make sure you get your preparation and then make sure you get your penetration. Actually, this should actually be maxed out. 350 penetration is not a big deal, but you want to make sure you max this out as well. And then your crit, but you're going to get this anyway. So that's the champion point trees. We'll go over the race just for a second here. I am a high elf, but you realistically can run anything. You can run anything from Khajiit, dark elf, Breton will work. It doesn't do quite as much damage. You can run pretty much anything you want. Race doesn't matter that much. I am getting pretty big damage here. I think dark elf might be a little bit more. Khajiit would still do a ton of damage. So realistically, you can run whatever passives you want here, and it'll work just fine. All right, so that's kind of the end of this. There's going to be some PvP clips here at the end. Remember, you can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Parfaxgaming. I have been on a little bit of a lull. I was in the hospital last week and the beginning of this week. So if you've been wondering why I've been streaming, that is why. We are getting better now. I don't know if I will stream it all this week. I may stream Friday. I'm not sure. It might be just like a quick little stream. See how everybody's doing. And I don't know if I could do a full stream. But we're going to get back there. We're going to be back streaming next week. So go ahead and slap that follow button. And, you know, we'll get ready to put out more builds for you. You guys have been loving the builds that I've been putting out. I'm getting a lot of good feedback. And I've been having a lot of fun doing them. So enjoy these PvP clips here at the end. I hope you enjoyed this video. And I'll talk to you next time.
Yeah.